Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here for another YouTube video discussion on Retro Geek Gaming, where we talk about stuff that's retro, geek, and of course gaming related. We did have a Nintendo Direct yesterday, and while I did think at first that I wanted to go ahead and just do a straight up video right afterwards, just because there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about, stuff that was shown off, stuff that wasn't shown off. I'll probably save that for the podcast on Friday, so feel free to join us for the Retro Rewind. As far as I know, it is still on. As far as I know, we're still doing it unless something comes up last minute that prevents us from doing it. But I think it's going to be a good time. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Direct, probably the recent state of play, and other stuff that's been going on with gaming over the past week or so, just to sort of just shoot the breeze about it. So it should be a good time, and you can come join us for that. What I wanted to focus on, though, was the primary thing, the big teaser at the end that's now on everybody's tips. Seems to be trending everywhere, seems to be talked about everywhere on YouTube, and that is, of course, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, formerly known as the sequel to to Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I did have some photos and some stuff that sort of showed up during the trailer that interested me, and I had some theories on it. So I wanted to just sort of throw those out there and have you guys sort of share your thoughts on this. What do you think about this? What do you think about this this fan theory that I sort of have here? So let's go ahead and bring some of this up and talk about it. So the first thing to talk about is probably the most important part, because it's a spoiler, they say. And usually the title of the games are a big giveaway for what's been going on, and that is the fact that they're called Tears of the Kingdom. Now, there was something from the original Breath of the Wild game, if you remember correctly. Whenever you got a new Sheikah ability, this little water drip would come out from the stone. It almost looked like a tear. Those were the Tears of the Kingdom. I think that this has something to do more with like the Sheikah and the back history of Zelda lore, possibly even the Zonai that was sort of hinted at in Breath of the Wild but never really talked about. And that's probably going to be something else that I'm going to throw in here as well, as you're going to sort of see as we go through these videos. We didn't really get a lot gameplay wise, so we only have to go off of the pictures that were shown from that trailer. So let's go ahead and bring up the first one here. And I guess I'll just go ahead and use Gamepur for this, because I was trying to just like enlarge these photos and stuff so I could have them, but it's fine. We can just use this this article here. So let's transition over to it. One of the first things, of course, that was shown is this long-eared creature. Now, it looks like it might be an owl or some kind of a bird creature. Now, we already have the Ruto, so I don't think it's going to be a bird-like creature. It could do something. It could have something to do with the Ruto. But if you notice around this creature, this may be some sort of a device plot, sort of like how you had in Age of Calamity. You had that agent that was trying to bring back Calamity Ganon. This could be something where, you know, this is a cult or some kind of a leader of a race or a particular group that is looking to sort of continue that tradition and bring back Demise or bring back Ganon, or has something to do with what's going on in the game. And as you can see around them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these things that they almost look like they're tears, so maybe they have something to do with the story. Maybe that's why it's called Tears of the Kingdom, because you gotta go around the kingdom. But these could also be the number of dungeons, since supposedly there will be proper dungeons in this game. This would be really cool to see if these are in fact dungeons, and as you clear them out, these start to sort of fill up. And I wouldn't be surprised if this also has something to do with the map. Like if you fill this one out here, then you're in the far west of the kingdom, and you're far north here. So this can sort of help you point out to where the dungeons are. Maybe this is in the beginning of the game somewhere. So that's that. We also then have a picture of what looks like a sacrifice of Zelda. Now this could potentially be a sacrifice again to bring back Demise. and that's going to come in later with another theory that I have as far as the logo and the symbol in the back. But this could indicate that maybe she needs to be sacrificed, or she's a part of a ritual in some way, because she might not necessarily be dead. She might just be floating and is being chanted over by this being. And we see another figurine here. This could be the goddess Hylia, since it's underneath the sun. But this could be a second Zelda, maybe a past Zelda and a future Zelda. Who knows? That's just an interesting part that came up. We also saw in the trailer how you had these rock-like structures that seemed like they were being pulled up. This could be another Sheikah ability that you get. Could be part of your arm, as I've theorized in the past, that your arm is part of the abilities that you have. But it's interesting that they're being pulled up, because it seems like the game is focusing a lot on the sky. You know, we said, Nintendo said that Skyward Sword was an important part of this game. And of course that mostly took place in the sky for a lot of parts. So what if these are parts of an island that you're pulling back up to solve a puzzle that would then open up a temple that gets you a tier? That could be something that's easily plausible. We still got climbing, and of course here is another owl. At least to me, I'll go back and watch the trailer again, because maybe it's not, but it looked like it was an owl kind of thing. So again, maybe it has something to do with the Zonai. Maybe it has something to do with this ancient race. Even if it's not the Zonai, maybe it's an ancient race of owl-like protectors or beings or whatever that come from the sky, because you can see there's a ton of sky stuff. Here's a small one here, which is probably in the distance. There's one here. Looks like another one could be here, and possibly another one here. So these could be way off in the distance. So who really knows? You know, like I said, you got one that looks like it could be way off in the distance there. It's hard to tell. I'd have to zoom in. But these could be part of the dungeons that you have to solve. You know, maybe something that you solve here unlocks a part that's over here, or you have to transport it somehow with that ability that we saw earlier in the game. Who really knows? You know, I think that this is going to be a very interesting game, and I think that we're going to get a full-blown trailer breakdown of this game at the next Direct, because it's not coming out until May, so they got plenty of time to hype this game up, and they're just teasing it little by little, showing us little bits and pieces here. I think that the next Nintendo Direct is going to really show off what this game is going to be about. I think it's going to show off possibly Ganon or Ganondorf, since, you know, Ganondorf is his human form. And also I think it's going to possibly show us some actual gameplay, maybe a dungeon or two, maybe a boss fight or two. But the reason why all this is important is because of the logo in the back, and I think this is going to be the part that I'm going to end off with. Okay? Because why would this be important? Why would what looks like a dragon sort of swallowing its own tail and going in a circle have any importance? Well, this symbol looked very familiar to me, and of course it showed up in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 if you played that, but it's Oroboros. And I looked up what Oroboros meant. It basically is a circular symbol that depicts a dragon or snake devouring its own tail, and is used to represent the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth, or sometimes infinity, as you can see here. So, it's typically an Egyptian or Greek tradition, and of course, you know, the Egyptians, they like to use a lot of like jackals and creatures with or man-like, I guess, deities with creature heads. That's the reason why I think it's also kind of a maybe an ancient owl thing or something. But it's interesting that it means basically an eternal cycle. What is an eternal cycle that's going on based upon Skyward Sword, since it's so important to what's going on in Tears of the Kingdom, under what Nintendo's saying. Well, the Eternal Cycle, for those that don't know, so spoilers ahead if you haven't played Skyward Sword or have no history of Zelda, the Eternal Cycle is that Demise's curse continues to bring back Zelda, Link, and Ganon. That there's always going to be an evil that rises up, and there's always going to be a hero that rises up to take on that evil, and there's always going to be a reincarnation of the goddess Hylia that is going to be sort of the protector, or the wisdom part of the Triforce. So, going back to what I was saying earlier then, what if we have a Zelda from the past that's needed to break this cycle, and a Zelda of the future, or whatever. This could be future because of how the arm looks. It almost, unless that's hitting something else here, that could be a mechanical looking arm. So, what if there's a Zelda of the past and a Zelda of the future that need to be sacrificed in order to break this cycle and bring Demise back? We do have a broken Master Sword, after all, that I've theorized and others have theorized in the past means that it has something to do with, Demise is, Fee is free because Demise is about to be brought back, and you have to go between the past and the future to fix the Master Sword. That's what I think anyways. I could be wrong. But, this might be something we go over more in future podcasts and future videos as we get more information. But what do you guys think about all this? Do you think that any of this could possibly hold some merit? And I want to thank Gamepur, which I will put a link in the description to the article. Sorry, I'll put a link to the article in the description. What do you guys think about all this? Do you think this is something that, so does this hold any water? Do you think that, because we know that they had so many ideas for Breath of the Wild, they decided to make a whole new game out of it. Do you think that possibly they meant to introduce the Zonai, and that's what these owl-like things are, these long-eared creatures could be? Do you think it's something else? Do you think it has absolutely nothing to do with the story and it's just some kind of a legend that was passed down? Who knows? I still hold on true because, again, there was a photo, which I'll bring up again now that I'm seeing it, where we sort of saw Link coming out of a dungeon and then leaping down towards the ground. So it's very much possible that we have, traditional dungeons again in this game, and that the game's going to be way more open than what it was before. There's been talks that maybe Zelda's stuck in the past or in the future, and you had to solve puzzles back and forth. That's sort of along the lines of what I've been thinking. I think Link himself travels back and forth and has to now protect two Zeldas, one from the past and one from the future, from being abducted and sacrificed. I mean, who knows? Who knows? This is all speculation at this point. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it here because otherwise I could talk forever about theories and ideas and stuff about Zelda, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate every single comment that I get. I appreciate every single watch and view that I get, every single subscription. So if you like this kind of stuff, feel free to stick around. Press that like button to know that you've watched this all the way to the end and you like this kind of material. Feel free to subscribe if you want. No pressure from me, but I do try to make videos at least 3 times a week. And one of those, of course, is the Retro Rewind that comes up on Fridays with my co-host. So hopefully you'll join us for that. And I hope you have a good one, guys. I'll see you next time.